your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Fame. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always. I just made Charlo with the rings today. I want to make this a very, very special day because we're coming off a big weekend, man. Reality Wrestling debuted our new arena, and I must say, man, it was an awesome time. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be back here. ESPN 975-925. I'm excited to be here with Brad. I'm excited about everybody stepping inside the Hall of Fame today. Getting your champagne wishes. Oh, yes! And caviar dreams. But Brad, how you feel, man? Before I even ask how you feel, I tell you, Sunday after the show, I was wiped out all day. I didn't move. I think I had a serious endorphin dump. You know what I mean? Everything just left me. And all day Sunday, I was like, man, why can't I move? Jermell was the same way. She could not move at all. And it was all due to trying to get ready for that one big night, trying to get ready for that 7 o'clock bell time. And I want to thank everybody who came out to Reality of Wrestling on Saturday night, showed up and showed out. We had a sold-out, packed-out house. If you haven't seen the photo that's been circulating around on social media, on the internet, guys, check it out, man, because Reality Wrestling, stand up, big time. How you feel, dog?
I was like you. I woke up the next day, and I was, actually, it's not even I woke up the next day. This is a real story. At about 4:15 Sunday morning, I woke up, right? And I looked at the clock. It was 4:15, and I'm not joking, Book. I go, we did it. And then I went back to sleep. Because I too, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into the pre-production of Saturday night. But those show days on Saturday, as soon as we got to the arena, about 1 o'clock, I did not stop. You did not stop. Kevin Bernhardt did not stop. Jermell, the whole support staff did not stop. Literally up into the minutes before the first bell rang off. There was always a lot going on in those shows, and I really want to give a big shout out to not only the whole crew, the staff, the roster, the locker room, but like you said, Book, this show is all about it, and Reality Wrestling is all about it. I got to give a big shout out to all the people, because I walked out to our little side curtain to sit at our booth, and I looked out. I said, damn, it's pretty packed in here. There wasn't not a chair anywhere. And here's the other thing I'm going to say. Here's the other thing I want to say is this is, I guess, it's the third gym that we've had since I've been a part of Reality Wrestling. I know y'all had one in downtown before. Yeah, this is our second arena. And we did a lot of great stuff in the World Gym Arena, had a lot of great moments, a lot of great matches. But when I tell everybody that this setup it's literally ideal for what we're doing, it feels like TV. It feels like an actual television show as soon as you walk in. I've been to the Tonight Show and things like this, and this is the level that this is at from a feel standpoint. It feels like you're in a studio audience. So just shout out to everybody who made it happen. It was awesome. This is my favorite place we've ever had a wrestling show.
Yeah, heck yeah. And main event, Axiom versus Charlie Dempsey, two NXT stars. They came in and they really shocked and amazed. From the beginning to the end of that match, they had me on the edge of my seat. I mean, it started out, like a slow boil, and then it got, bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, guys, slow down, please. I need to get y'all back to work safe. Because my thing is, I'm always thinking safety first, and these guys were literally laying everything out there and giving 110% at a Reality of Wrestling show. Of course, these guys work on television on a weekly basis, but they work just as hard at Reality of Wrestling than they would on the main roster. So I want to give those two guys big props, and I learned a whole lot watching them, as well as my students should have been taking notes as far as that match goes, because it was It was a master class. It really was a master class as far as the inner workings of going out there and knowing how to. You don't even have to know how to. Speak the same language. It's universal when you do it like that. It's unbelievable.
They went out and put on a clinic. 20 plus minutes, main event. There was not a person in the house that left early. This wasn't like you were going to a baseball game with the Astros as of late, right? This was something you wanted to stay to the very end and see how this was going to turn out. And big ups to Axiom and Charlie Dempsey on all facets. We had to do some pre-tape stuff with them. They were great. In the ring, they were great. The moments, the little things, just phenomenal. Had a great match. And I want to give a shout out to somebody here in the chat who was there, one of our channel members who was in the chat and came down for the show, Turfa, who said every match was a bona fide thriller. He said he said every spot and location in the venue had optimal seating everywhere, and I got me a row is now shirt too. So we appreciate you, Turfa.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the love. But I ain't gonna lie to these kids. I ain't gonna lie to them. A couple of them had a couple of stinkers out there. They know who they are. They know who they are. They won't be working for the next couple of months. But that's the way it is. You live and you learn. It's like trial by fire, trial and error. I think that's the way you can. That's the only way you're gonna learn in this business, by going out and making mistakes. I get that. But until you correct those mistakes, it could be a bumpy ride. So guys, girls, make sure you get it right.
Get it right, get it tight, as they say in the rap world. But yeah, here's the thing too, though. What's great though is to have a learning experience and have that ground and have that immediate feedback. Because this is what a lot of people, I guess, who maybe have never been to an independent show outside of reality wrestling don't know. 99% of the time, when you walk back through a curtain at an indie show anywhere in the world, you walk by the promoter or the timekeeper, whomever sitting there, and you walk past him. You know what they say, Book? Great match.
Good match.
Good match. Hell of a job, kid.
Even if even if they didn't watch it, they say.
What do you mean even? They didn't see it. They're over there counting the money, trying to figure out how they can take it.
Trying to get out the back door. But most of the time, even if they do watch it, they're not watching it because they don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. But so what I'm saying is it's great to have that at reality wrestling where you can come back, you get that instant feedback, but you also say stuff. Well, actually, I don't want to give too much behind the scenes, but it is cool to get that instant feedback. And so shout out to all of them. Some of them, felt like the Miami Dolphins after Saturday night, and some of them felt like the Broncos after Saturday night. But but you know what? You don't take it home with you.
The Broncos, they know who they are too. No, and the thing is, I'm not going to, sugarcoat it or anything like that. I'm not going to say something that I don't really, really mean. And the reason I do that is I don't want to lie to these guys. I want to make sure they understand that in this business, you got to be better than the guys standing across from you. You watch the guys on the roster. You know if you can compete with these guys, the ones that's working near the main event. You know that in your own heart. But a lot of these kids, sometimes they want to lie to themselves. But they can rest assured that I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them the truth every single time. If they got to get back in the gym and work on their craft, they need to do that. But they need to do it diligently. A lot of guys, I always talk about reality of wrestling as far as a lot of guys make it, a lot of guys don't. A lot of guys would rather go somewhere else because they don't want to be told that they're not better than everybody else that's on the roster. So it's not a Pop Warner. It's not everybody get a trophy at reality of wrestling. We're looking for the best wrestlers, but we're looking for the guys and the girls that's going to push themselves, even when they don't have the athletic ability to be able to go out there and compete from that perspective. And I always look back on one of my prized pupils by the name of Gustavo Mendoza. He's one of the best, that I've ever coached, that I ever had a chance to train. And this kid couldn't do a front roll, side roll, back roll, or anything, but he was better than everybody on the card for about 1 year straight. He was the Reality of Wrestling champion. And I'm looking for guys, not just that are athletic. I'm looking for guys that are smart. We talked about the honky tonk man. You know, people can say this, they can say that, but the honky tonk man was one of the greatest WWE superstars that ever lived. I don't know why my mouth got like that, but it made me want to talk about honky tonk like that. But he was one of the he was one of the best.
You know, all I can say is that honky could work.
We got to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? All right, everyone, it's Booker T and Brad Gilmore here, and we've got something exciting for all you sports, comedy, music, and theater fans out there. We're talking about Game Time, the fastest, easiest way to get your hands on tickets to your favorite events.
That's right, Book. We love all those spontaneous, unforgettable moments, and Game Time is here to make them happen. Whether it's a last-minute decision to see a game or a sudden urge to catch a live show, Game Time has got you covered, giving fans access to tickets even at the last minute in over 60 cities across the United States and Canada.
Hey guys, this ain't about getting in. This is about getting the best seats in the house. With Game Time, you can see images of your seat before you buy it. So no surprises there, guys. You can score tickets swiftly. Skip the line, guys. Just dive straight into the moment.
Absolutely. And listen to this. Game Time guarantees the best prices. Find tickets in the same section in a row for less elsewhere. Game Time will give you a credit of 110% of the difference. So there's no reason to wait, Book.
So whether it's the thrill of the game, the laughter of the comedy, the rhythm of the music, or the drama of the theater, guys, don't let the opportunity skip by. Choose Game Time. Grab your tickets and just enjoy the moment.
Live should be spontaneous, Book. So guys, don't miss out. Check out Game Time now on their app or at gametime.co. That's gametime.co.
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code BOOKER for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Lowest price. Guaranteed. Oh, yes. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Oh, man. Hey, man. There's a couple of things I want to talk about here inside the Hall of Fame today. And one of them is stuff I really never like talking about old stuff. You know that. But one
Right.
thing, we're going to be going to Bakersfield here in just a couple of days for NXT. Looking forward to it. And it's going to be a place where kind of like near and dear to my heart, because that's where the Green Frog incident went down with Stone Cold Steve Austin and I, the infamous grocery store fight. And one thing about moments like that, they're like iconic moments. They're like those, life-lasting moments. And the thing is, when Steve and I was doing that, we wasn't thinking about that. We were just thinking about going out there and, having some fun, creating some magic, hopefully, for that one night, not knowing that it was going to last throughout the history and the annals of times of wrestling. But that's what wrestling has been built on. Of course, there again, NXT is going to be going there this weekend. I can't wait to get there. You and I were going to be in Vegas. But on top of that, another moment, the main event Mafia in TNA. I was looking on Twitter, on X, and somebody had pretty much they did like a big synopsis pretty much on that night, the night that Main Event Mafia took over TNA. And the thing is, I didn't really realize how funny that night was. I really didn't. So I went back and watched some of those moments. And man, we took over the whole show. I mean, I did commentary all night. It was the stupid. It was the stupidest thing in the world. And what's really, really cool about that moment, just like with Steve and I in the grocery store, we didn't really plan anything out. We didn't talk about a whole lot. We just action go. We knew our route, and that was pretty much some of our route. And that's pretty much it. As far as verbiage, none of that. We just, whatever just came out. And the same thing with Kevin and I doing the Chet Lemon and Black Snow. I didn't know he was going to be Chet Lemon until he started doing Chet Lemon. And he didn't know I was going to be Black Snow until I started doing Black Snow. None of it was planned. None of it had any real direction other than me knowing the run sheet and the matches and when Jermell was going to be coming up. Of course, I had somebody in my ear. But to see me actually doing, Vic Joseph's job, it was funny as hell. And I was pretty good. at it. That's what's even scarier because I always tell people in those moments, I really don't know what I'm doing. I just act like I know what I'm doing. It's like when I was playing the game show host and spin the wheel, make the deal, Remember somebody coming up and saying something to me, and I say, look, man, I don't make the rules, I just make the spins. It was just ad lib, so
What's funny about that is yes, because there was actually something that went out the other day. Actually, it was a Twitter. It might have been a Twitter or X, thread today or yesterday where it was like, drop your favorite Booker T commentary moment. I don't know if you saw that on your Twitter.
I did, but man. It was the funniest thing in the world.
There's a bunch of funny moments. There was one promo I actually have never asked you about, but when you were talking just now, I was reminded of it, and I would love to see if I can find it on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there. It was in TNA. It was you and Scott Steiner. Y'all were arguing about something. I don't remember what it was. And then you were like, let's do Eeney, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember that. That was one of my most funnest moments.
It was so funny. The Eeney, was that all improv too? Like just you came up with that before?
All of that was improv. All of that was improv. I mean, in the moment, I know a way we can do it.
Let's see. I think okay, hold on. I think this is it. There's no swearing in it, right? No, there shouldn't be. Let me see if I can share this because it's actually, if no one's ever heard the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo thing, it's so funny. And it just is really a nice.
What it is stupid, right?
It is stupid, but it's hilarious.
It's funny, stupid. It's wrestling,
Here we go.
My thing is I had so much fun in TNA when I was doing this stuff too.
Here we go. So this is you. There's Jim Cornette of Blast from the Past. Angle's sitting there. I think Jeremy Borash is in the scene and the Queen. Let's see if
shut up, Cornette. Mafia runs TNA. Kurt, I got this book. I got this.
Whoa. I got this, dog.
No, I got this.
Whoa, hold on, dog. I got this, man.
I can beat it.
Hey, I tell you what. We said it what we did in the hood, man.
In the hood.
In my hood.
All right.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I know that. I'm
wait a minute. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Stop being a baby. Plus, Booker called first.
A baby. I'm good at eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who starts first wins. How meeny, mo. Jolly Jokers, you're jacking around, having fun. This is serious business. Steiner, you're in the main event tonight against AJ. You're the one, and I'm going to tell you this. If any of you pull anything else and try to jump in on this match, I guarantee you I'll find you. Oh, shut up. You stick that
You always want to go something.
Nobody back. Out of here.
You're crying. Booker's crying. He's crying on the camera. Ooh, baby.
Oh my God, man.
in that segment played their role so well. Jermell jumping in, being babies. Plus, he called first and didn't Cornette at the end.
Oh my God, man. That was some funny TV right there. I love Main Event Mafia. I mean, I wish we had more time together. I wish we really could have did something with that. But that time that we did have, that 2 years that I spent in TNA, it definitely was fun. I had some fun moments. I can't say it wasn't the greatest time, anything like that, but I did have a lot of fun doing those pre-tapes. I remember one where I was talking to the wall. I was so mad. And, Jeremy Borash was in it. I told him I was going to jump on him, if he didn't get out of there. It was just stupid, And I see Jeremy Borash every week now because he's at NXT, and to think about those times, it's just crazy fun. But that's what wrestling truly is all about. And, those moments like when we took over the show and me taking the microphone and beating up, Creed and Petey Williams and all those guys. It was just stupid fun. And when I see it on Twitter now, I go, wow, man, I think at that time TNA rating was we were drawing like 1.5 million people watching the show.
Oh yeah.
And so for me, maybe I just wasn't thinking about it that way. I guess because I would go places when I was in TNA back then. A lot of people had thought I had retired because a lot of people, I guess they get a lot of overseas traffic, but it was just one of those things I just didn't know how many people actually saw that and gravitated to it. It's crazy.
Well, first off, yes. Now and really because of Twitter and YouTube and stuff, people are really reliving those memories and realizing how great TNA actually was. And I actually really, and I've told you this and said it on the show for a long time, that run from like 05 to maybe 08, 09 ish, I think was like the best run for TNA, to where it really felt like they had so much momentum behind them. But you bring up a guy I actually want to give a spotlight to, and that's Jeremy Borash. And I don't think people really realize how much Jeremy Borash did in TNA, how much blood, sweat, and tears he put into that company. He was such a multi-tool player. He'd be a ring announcer, he'd be a commentator, he'd be a backstage interviewer. He would edit segments, he'd do voiceovers on packages. The guy did so much of everything. And I don't know how many people know that or how many people sing his praises, but his praises are worth being sung.
Well, he's still doing all this stuff. He's just doing it with WWE. He's still working. I'm serious. He working harder now than he probably perhaps ever worked, but I'm sure he loves it. One thing about Jeremy, he's always loved the business. And for me, he's always been cool. My time in TNA, we had a whole lot of laughs, and it was crazy. We're still laughing still to this day.
Great guy, man. Great guy. I love that I know you don't spend too much time going down memory lane, but it is nice to see some of those moments.
Well, that moment with TNA, like I say, when we took over the show, it was a moment that people still talking about to this day. And when I saw it on YouTube, they did like a whole, I don't know, maybe it was like an hour, seriously. And they pretty much chronicled the whole, Main Event Mafia, run. And then that came up, and it was just like, man, I really didn't realize how much fun that I did have in TNA. And what's crazy is I really thought I was going to be in TNA a whole lot longer than I was. I thought my run in TNA was going to last about maybe 5 years. I really did. When things didn't work out, when I kind of felt like things wasn't working out, let's just say that, I'd say, well, maybe I should just go ahead on and get out while I can. My contract was coming up, and honestly, they wasn't offering, a whole lot of money, at least the money that I was thinking about anyway. So I was like, man, let me go ahead and take a hiatus and go home. And then the Rumble came up, but I really thought that I was going to be in TNA for quite some time. I don't know. Things just, that's just the way things work in the business. At the end of the day, I was listening to Ric Flair talk about, a lot of the guys that got released today, and the statement that he made was, spot on 100%. At the end of the day, it's a business, and sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work out. I know it's no way in hell people would have, thought that CM Punk was only going to be in AEW for a couple of years.
Right.
Right? No one thought that.
Yeah, 100%.
They thought that was a retirement thing. I mean, this is it. And boom, 2 years later, it's over. So I think that's just the way it is. It's just a business. But we got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker?
Hey, Book, our next sponsor of the Hall of Fame podcast is AG1, the daily foundational nutritional supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day, and I know you're drinking it too.
Yeah, man. I received the box in the mail, and I said, what is this? And it said AG1. And let me give you a little testimony. I'm a coffee drinker. I've been a coffee drinker every morning for about 25 years. And I drink a big cup of coffee on the way to the airport, and I get on my flight and I still go to sleep. So I realized coffee is not helping me at all. So I say, let me try the AG1. I stopped drinking coffee literally 2 weeks ago. And I drink the AG1 in the morning, first thing. And the first thing I want to do is get in the gym and train. The body transformation has been unbelievable. The energy I have going into my daily routine has been off the chain. So I'm a believer. I'm a believer in AG1.
And you know, Book, for me, I was sick of taking multivitamins every day, and I wanted something that was an all-in-one. And with AG1, it's just a scoop in my water every morning. I mix it up, and it's a foundational nutritional supplement that delivers comprehensive nutrients to the whole body. And for me, the benefits of AG1, I can tell you I have more energy, I have better digestion, better gut health, I have more support for mental clarity and focus. I'm locked in for the whole day since I've been drinking AG1.
And they say LeBron James spent $1.5 million a year on his body. You don't have to do that, guys. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Guys, go to drinkag1.com/Booker. That's drinkag1.com/Booker. Check it out. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Oh man. A lot of news going on out there. A lot of news been floating around on the internet. And the thing is, it's not rumor or anything like that. We're talking about the release of Matt Riddle. Riddle is no longer a part of WWE. What do you think about that? We were just talking about Riddle.
We were just talking about Riddle and a situation that he had, I believe, at an airport or something of that nature.
We were just talking about Riddle. And what did I say?
Yeah.
What did I say that day? I say that stuff only going to be tolerated so much.
Yeah.
I think I said something like that. As far as that stuff, you can get away with that kind of stuff only for so long.
Yeah.
And then it catches up with you, because then you become a liability. I mean, it's like, man, you don't want people in the news for negative reasons. It's the last thing you want. It's the last thing you need is having one in the news for negative purposes.
They used to say, when I was growing up, like, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? And that used to may have been the case, but today, in the corporate structure, in the 24-hour news cycle, in the social media world, you do not want to be in the headlines for the wrong reasons. And I will say this, and I believe this: Matt Riddle did not get released because of his talent, because the guy's got talent, right? In the ring. I mean, you've praised some of his in-ring work before.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You have.
I have not praised any of Riddle's work. Okay, no, I haven't.
I think that's happened.
No, I have not. I said he might be getting better or something like that. But as far as praising, no.
Okay, maybe praise is the wrong characterization. You have complimented some of his ability.
Yes. I can agree with you on that. But as far as
Wrong
praise,
descriptor.
exactly.
Wrong adjective.
Exactly my point.
Yeah. However, my point is, it is, in my estimation, and I have no inside knowledge of this, that his out of the ring antics more so probably led At least two. If it wasn't that didn't what make them make the decision, it was a deciding factor. If he was on the bubble, hey, he's got some extra baggage that come along with him because, for Matt, do you remember when we first talked about Matt Riddle on this show? I don't know
Him
if you
being,
remember the first.
him being bare feet.
No. The first thing that we ever mentioned about him on the show was his social media rant, I guess you could say it, against Goldberg.
Yeah. That was one of the yeah, definitely.
And he went off on a couple other people. I think why do I feel like Lance Storm was in that mix too? I feel like he said something about Lance. I could be wrong on that. But I remember the Goldberg one for sure. And you talked about the disrespect of that.
Yeah, I did. I mean, because Goldberg is a guy that made a lot of money in this business for the business. He sold out arenas, something that I don't think Riddle has done yet in his career. He's a guy that was a major star as far as movies and television as well. I wouldn't say movies, but television. He's done both. So Goldberg's a big deal. He's a big deal, and did he get his flowers like every other wrestler did? No, he didn't. Did an opportunity knock for Goldberg and he took it? Yes, he took it. Was Goldberg the greatest wrestler of all times? Of course he isn't. Should he be criticized for that? Well, I think not, because that's not what this business is about. That's what MMA is about. As far as the guy being the best fighter. Okay, that's not what the wrestling business is about, because it's entertainment. Sometimes the best wrestlers aren't the guys that's making the most money. Okay, just you think Roman Reigns is better than some of these guys' favorites like Kenny Omega, because they look at those guys from two totally different perspectives. Okay. Roman Reigns is an entertainer. He's a superstar. Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Okay. Do we look at these guys different? Of course we do.
Yeah, it's different boxes.
It's just the way the business is. So when you gotta look at it that way all the time.
But I bring that up to say, because I remember his kind of the first time we talked about him was the Goldberg thing, and I looked it up to correct myself. Yeah, so he had shots at Goldberg, Lance Storm, and Chris Jericho, all within a nice stretch. He did bring up your name, I remember, but he didn't have anything bad to say. He said, I love Booker T. Watch my matches.
No, and the thing is, I don't have any bad thing to say about Riddle. I just wish, the kid had a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
And the thing is also, there's so many guys out there that wish they could have that spotlight, and that position, and that push to work alongside Randy Orton. So, and do a lot of people. And the thing is, just think about this for a second. Matt Riddle can almost put himself, and there's no disrespect to him either, but Matt Riddle can put himself almost in the same respect as Goldberg, being a guy who got an opportunity because of who he was, where he came from.
Coming over with some name value from the UFC.
Exactly my point.
Got put in a big position. A year ago, almost to the day, maybe by a couple weeks. This guy was in the main event of Extreme Rules with Seth Rollins in that, what do they call it, Fight Pit? Is that what it was called, with Daniel Cormier? Went over, won in the main event, of a pay-per-view. And you fast forward a year later, and he's released. Now, we always ask this thing, like, are you shocked by this? And I think that you and I might have the same answer to this question. Am I shocked? No, and I'm not surprised either.
No, neither am I. I'm not shocked or surprised that this happened, because I said it many, many times. You put yourself in position, for something to happen. 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen. And I just think that's what happened with Riddle. I don't wish no ill will on anyone as far as them losing their job or anything like that. But for someone like Riddle, who's had several opportunities and several things happen to where, just say for instance, a lot of guys perhaps would have got released a long time ago. for the same exact reasons. So when you get a shot, you know, and people, I know people, a lot of people out there saying, well, he can go to AEW. If that's what AEW want, and they want to deal with, you know, that kind of baggage and having turmoil because one guy's doing it and nothing's happening, and the other guy do it and something happened, you know, having friction, and you know, I just think he really put himself in a really, really awkward position because he left the UFC, you know, for certain reasons. And then he came to WWE and was pretty much let right in the door and accepted by all of those guys in the locker room as well, you know. So I don't know. He just really put himself in a bad light.
He put himself in a very bad light. And again, in this industry and all others, perception is reality, right? And if people have a perception of you that you could be difficult, that you might not have respect for the business because of things you said about the people who came before you, that perhaps you're cause issues outside the ring that reflect negatively on the company. If that's just the perception of you, not saying any of that's true, but if that's just the perception of you, that becomes the reality in a lot of people's minds. And it could put you on the chopping block. I'm like you. I don't wish ill will on anybody. I do think Matt Riddle had talent that could have been honed in on. He had an incredible opportunity that could have been better capitalized upon.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you, look, none of this would have happened if Matt Riddle would have just listened to me. Okay? If Matt Riddle would have just listened to me from the beginning, none of this would have never happened. If he would have just got him a damn pair of boots, we could have looked past all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe worn some shoes. Perhaps it would have been different for him.
I'm just playing, man. That's just jokes. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, too. I do want to say this, and this is 100% honesty. Did Matt Riddle's character ever resonate with me personally? No. Did I think he looked kind of stupid sometimes when he was out there? Just his facial expressions, his overall disposition. Yes. However, did a large amount of people in the WWE universe gravitate to him and chant, bro, 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 when he would come out and pop for his entrance and have the flip-flops and the signs? There was a lot of people that like Matt Riddle. A lot of people that might like Matt Riddle.
You know why?
And it wasn't for me.
You know why? Because that time that Matt Riddle spent when he left the UFC, he was out there on the indies. Yeah. He was Andy Darling. He was getting booked all over the place. So he was fairly popular when he came to the WWE. I'm not saying, you know, he didn't put in some work and just came from the UFC and had a name. He actually put in some work. You know, Ronda Rousey actually put in a little bit of work before she came into WWE. But and I can respect Matt Riddle for actually going out there on the indies and trying to hone his craft and then create that bro character. I can appreciate that 100% because a lot of guys in this business that can't create anything. You know what I mean? So I give Matt Riddle a whole lot of credit as far as being a guy that, you know, kind of like had some direction as far as where he wanted to go in this business. I just hate that he didn't, you know, stay the course and stay focused and make me a liar. Okay, I would have loved for Matt Riddle to make me a liar because I said, you know, God is, you know, running around bare feet. It's never going to, you know, get the title. Remember me saying that?
Yeah.
And then Matt Riddle started rolling. You remember me saying, well, maybe the bare feet thing is working for him. You know, I gave him some props on that. So I'm not one to, you know, retract my statement if a guy is willing to go out there and prove me wrong. I said that about Dragunov just last week. You know, you make me a believer. I said that about Jermell Charlo. I say, man, I didn't believe in you guys in the beginning, but hey, you made me a believer. I was willing to say that to his face. So yeah, Riddle, he could have proved me wrong, but hey, That's another story. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Can you dig it, sucker? Hey, this episode is sponsored by BlueChew. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, you remember when you was always ready to go? I'm talking about strapping the rocket on it, man. Going straight to the moon. I'm talking about getting it done. If you want that extra confidence, I got something for you. Listen up. BlueChew.com. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet at the fraction of the cost.
But the great thing, Book, is you can take it any time, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
The best part, guys, it's all done online on the internet. So there's no doctor's visit, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at a pharmacy or any of that.
And the thing is, Book, BlueChew's tablets, they're made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one is the wiser.
You know, let's just get it out there, guys. BlueChew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's like this. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try BlueChew absolutely free when you use promo code Booker at your checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping, man. That's BlueChew.com. Use promo code Booker to receive your first month absolutely free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And, you know, we want to thank BlueChew for sponsoring the Hall of Fame podcast. Chew it and do it. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We just chopping it up here inside. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame as well and getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, man. But I know we probably got some super chats.
You don't mess with my little privates, man.
Sorry, I just had to hit.
But we're gonna get to you guys here in a bit. Brad, what you got in the bracket, man? What you got in the bracket?
Well, I did want to ask you a couple other things before we jump into any super chats that we have. First off, AEW Collision went down on Saturday. There were a couple of your boys on the show. RVD was on the show as well as officially now. He is officially the new TNT champion. Christian Cage is now the TNT champion over there in AEW. I want to give a big shout out and congrats to Christian Cage, who we had on this show during the pandemic. And I remember asking him, you know, is it done? And he seemed like he was retired and he was at peace with it. Then that opportunity arises and he finds a way to go into the AEW. And now he's a champion over there. I just kind of wanted to get what your reaction is to Christian Cage as the TNT champion and what that means also for the locker room, having the strap on a vet like that.
It's huge, man, for Christian to be that guy, because I always said Christian was the most underrated, perhaps superstar in the history of the business. I've always said that. He's always been like extraordinarily good. He's a guy that you can count on to pretty much make the right decision every time in the middle of that square circle. I remember being in matches with Christian myself, where it was a fatal four-way or something like that, and I would go and find a quiet spot and get some coffee and a sandwich, and I would just chill, and I would tell Christian, bro, just let me know what I'm doing tonight. And he would let me know exactly when I was going to do the side kick, the scissor kick, and the spinneroonie. And it would be perfect timing. And I would ask no questions. Sometimes you got to know how to just be quiet and let someone else, you know, do the work for you and you take the credit. That's the guy that we're talking about as far as Christian Cage. And that's my Christian Cage testimonial. Put it out there.
I actually agree with you as far as Christian in WWE. When you're able to look back on that run that he had, I was talking about coming in and whatever that was, 99, 98, with Edge and Christian, and then going all the way through his Captain Charisma days. He used to have this awesome. Do you remember his old music that had it was like an operatic Christian,
Yeah.
and Edge, you're on your own. And then like the pyro would be down. I used to think it was such a cool intro. And I think that as far as a position player where you knew you could program him with anybody and he could get a great match out of him, tell a great story, has really always been his MO, whether that be in a crazy ladder match, a multi-man match, a triple threat match, or even a match, just straight up one-on-one. I think that he's so good and he's so smart. And the promos and the character work, by the way, he's been doing on AEW, it's up there with the best thing that's on the show week to week. Starting with when he had the program with Jungle Boy and was talking about his dad who has since passed, but just knew how to get the right amount of heat from that and knew how to, just when he says, say hi to your mom for me and gives that Biff Tannen line, he is so excellent in it. And I think having someone like that who's been a champion at a high level in other places, I think being your champion is only great for a young locker room to look and see, hey, this is how the guy, I'm talking about even how he carries the belt, right?
Yeah.
Tells me something.
No, I remember.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember one of my most fondest memories was we was doing an on sale for WWE, and we were in.
What's an on sale?
Well, tickets. As far as when we go to like a a venue, and there's a lot of people there, and we're just talking about the show and us coming to town and whatnot. A lot of wrestlers is almost like a pep rally, something like that. Pre-fight hype, something like that. And Christian and I, we were part of it, and we were in Quebec, somewhere like that, in his home country. And it was so funny because he took the stage, and he had a suit on, right? And he had a tie and a little scarf around his neck, and his hair was well coiffed. And he was actually acting like he was the president when he was speaking. He would pause between everything, let the people clap, look around, then he would say something else, pause, look around, let the people clap. And I was like, this guy's good. He was perfect. But I remember that so vividly. I learned so much that day just watching him do his work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually remember even back in the day when the old radio show you and I used to have, he called in one time. It was around WrestleMania season. And I remember the first thing he said was, well, hey, Book, thanks for having me on your radio show. And I just hope that you would return the favor and you would be on my radio show. And you're like, yeah, Christian, no problem. Anytime you say the word, he goes, well, I don't have a radio show, but if you can have one, then I'm sure anybody can have one. And it was like a dig, at the beginning of the show. I just remember thinking how just quick on his feet that he was, or not even that he was quick. He probably had that bit planned. And it just tells you.
He wrote that.
But it just tells you again, like, hey, no, 9 times out of 10, there's nothing wrong with it. Somebody's doing a phone or boom, you don't think about it. You just listen to the questions that they ask you and you go. But he took the time to be like, okay, how can I make this good? Like, how can I do something that's going to be funny? And I think that he takes that mentality to everything.
No, like I say, he's a guy that you can trust in that position as well. That's one thing about this business. Someone like Tony Khan, he definitely needs to look towards people that he could trust. And I've said that before about this business as far as, they got to be able to trust you. People thought, maybe he's talking about this. Well, maybe he's talking about that. Oh, I think he's talking about this. What I mean by a guy that you can trust is you can count on Christian to make sure he go out there and do the right thing every time. You're not going to have to worry about if he's going to make a date or anything like that due to something, that's totally in his hands that he can control. Of course, making a flight or something like that because of bad weather, that's not what I'm talking about. But if he can control it, he's going to be there 100% of the time. That's the guy Christian really is. And that's one thing about this business. You need guys like that, especially the guys that's going to work at the top of the card. You know, it's a reason why John Cena worked at the top of the card for many, many years, because they could trust him to get the job done and do that job well every time. So I think having Christian in that spot, and then, you know, flip over to RVD being a part of the show. Are they giving RVD a contract or what? Have you heard any word on that?
I'm not sure what his status is. I don't know if he's full time, if he's on like an appearance.
RVD, he probably like being, that Barry Bonds cleanup man. Come in, once in a blue, pay me, give me that daily rate. Yeah.
According to PW Insider, he's on a short-term deal with AEW, whatever that means.
I like it. I like that a lot. That sounds like.
But remember when he came back? Remember when he came back to WWE? This is now almost a decade ago. He was on like a 90-day on, 90-day off schedule with them. He would come work for 3 months straight, and then he'd be gone for a little while. Then he'd work another 3 months, and then he'd leave. Maybe that's kind of a similar thing he has with AEW.
I think he can teach those guys over there a little bit of something, because Rob's gone through it, and you can see Rob is one of the guys that's still able to still do it. Also, what?
No, what I was just going to say is, and Rob kind of pioneered, in a lot of ways, the style that a lot of those guys wrestle nowadays.
That's exactly what I was saying. As far as guys that's jumping over stuff, jumping on stuff, Rob can school these guys and let them know exactly what their careers are going to end up like. But Rob's got also that it's no secret that, for me, Rob can go out there and still do it, because Rob was one of the guys that you would see stretching in a corner for hours, just stretching and stretching and stretching, but we got to take a quick break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Matt Damon. Obviously, everyone knows Matt Damon.
Yeah, Knobs beat him up.
Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly.
That's a true story. That's not allegedly.
Knobs actually. Okay, wait, hold on. So I was about to go somewhere else, but we'll get back to the Matt Damon story about Avatar. I've always heard this. They were at some bar where in Boston.
Somewhere, I can't remember where it was.
And Matt Damon happened to be there, and the Nasty Boys and some of the other boys were there. And he and Knobs. What happened? What happened?
Look, I don't know exactly what happened, but my brother was there. Knobs beat up Matt Damon in the bar, and the thing is, they probably didn't know who Matt Damon was. Knobs and Sags, probably didn't know who Matt Damon was. Matt Damon was just a kid back then. He was just getting started. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like he was the same guy that played Django. or what? Oh, that was Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yes.
Well, they both look kind of alike.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
They do look kind of alike, man. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Oh, man. Every time I see that, man, all I can do is just start laughing. but they
Well,
do.
it's pretty funny. That's what.
They do kind of remind me. Kind of look.
So speaking of them, I'll just share this on the screen for my phone. But I saw this meme earlier today, of the Matt Damons and the Ben Afflecks and the Leos of the world. This is a meme of Ben Affleck, and I'll just show you a piece of it. Right, so it's him talking to Jennifer Lopez, and it says there are 14 more matches on this show. Right, and you see her face.
Yeah.
And then you scroll down. Every guy who's got a girlfriend when wrestling's on the TV or you're at a live show, they know. Right. They know. It's like going to a baseball game.
Where I feel, I'm producing it.
I know you're crossing them off the list. You're like, three more.
Bro, I swear, man. No. Half the time I'm close by the timekeeper. Hey, shave 2 minutes off this one. Cut a minute off this one. On Saturday night, at one match, they got to 5 minutes, right? He was giving them a minute countdown, and he goes, 5 minutes left. And then I told him, okay, next time you tell them they got 2. So within a minute, he went from 5 minutes to 2 minutes.
Hey, man.
Send them home. Yeah. I remember working for WCW back in the day, and Jody Hamilton was the timekeeper, Nick Patrick's dad. And in a minute, bro, you're out there messing up. Send them home. In a heartbeat, man.
Do you ever remember being out there and say they gave you, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes or something, and either while you're out there or about to walk through Gorilla, did they just dramatically cut your time ever? Do you remember that?
That normally just happened to the guys that's not, not well crafted. You know what I mean? I think that's what that is. I never had my time cut like that. I mean, I may have had a minute shaved off here, 2 minutes maybe shaved off there. But a lot of times I would get more time added on in matches, which was really, really cool.
Really?
I always loved.
I've never heard that.
I always loved, when I would get some extra time and be able to really, really go out and work, because they cut a match off. They cut a match because of whatever reasons, and that time got to go somewhere, and they'll put, give you an extra 5 minutes. I always loved that because, just like having, Axiom and Charlie Dempsey at Reality of Wrestling, that extra time, it seemed like they felt so free. It seemed like, nothing could, stop the flow of, what they were doing out there, because they were just having fun. And for me, when you get extra time, you have a lot more time to have fun, opposed to rushing through everything, and everything has to be so compact where you literally out of breath, after, so many minutes, because you're thinking about that time. And that's the one thing for me I always thought about in a match was I never wanted to know who was going over. That wasn't the first thing I wanted to know. First thing I always wanted to know was how much time we got. Because if it's a short amount of time, you got to condense. But if you got 20 minutes, okay, you good. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, well, hey, man, that's the first time I've ever heard people getting time added on to their matches.
Only the big stars. Only the big stars get that, man.
Well, the only reason I even asked that is because I remember, like, if they came to you and said, "Hey, book, how much time do you need?" Is your response going to be a lot or just a little?
10 minutes. That's all I really need, according to who I'm working. I mean, if it's a big match, of course you're going to want, 15 to 20. But if you're just working a match against, a guy, you can normally tell your story in 10 minutes. Because just think about it. You're doing a 20-minute match, 22 minutes. That's like a sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
You're working constantly working for 20 minutes. It's not something that's easy, really, easy to do. I mean, in my day, 20 minutes was like a breeze, a short walk around the block or something like that. Like I say, you hear about Ric Flair back in the day doing an hour with Steamboat. It gets easier after a while. You know what I mean? But for me, 10 minutes is all I really need.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Well, let me ask you this. This is not wrestling related. I know we got super chats, so we're going to get to them here in just a moment. We're going to Las Vegas this weekend.
Yes.
To be there to take part in the festivities of the H-Town's own Jermell Charlo. Going to face Canelo Alvarez, premier boxing champions on Showtime pay-per-view. We appreciate everybody for being out there. Actually, the Hall of Fame, if you're a local listener here in the H, we're going to be on ESPN 97.5, 92.5 at 7 o'clock on Thursday. So make sure that you're paying attention to the times and things of that nature. But I wanted to ask you about another fight before we get into that one. I wanted to ask you, what is your feelings and what are your thoughts regarding Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury and that big boxing exhibition that's coming up here shortly? They announced it a few weeks ago. We never talked about it on the show. This is something Francis obviously wanted to hold for a long time, and it's a good idea for Tyson as well. But what do you think about it?
Well, I mean, MMA fighter versus a boxer. I'm going to pick the boxer any day of the week. And if the boxer's Tyson Fury, I'm going to pick that guy right now, pretty much every time over anybody in the division of the heavyweight boxers. Not just MMA. I'm talking about boxing. I'm going to pick Tyson Fury just because he's that good. I know people talking about Tyson Fury being out of shape right now. They showed some pictures of him, with his shirt off, and he looked like he looked like a hot mess. But the thing is, Tyson Fury's always looked that way. He's never looked great. He's never been like a bodybuilder, sculpted Adonis or anything like that, carved out of granite. That's never been his, modus operandi or anything like that. But as far as that jab goes, as far as having great footwork, a guy that can move around on his toes, you thought this guy was, Butterbean Muhammad Ali put together if they had a baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. That's the way he move around. But no, I think Francis Ngannou was smart to take this fight. He's going to make, more money than he ever could have made in a UFC bout with anyone. So, and for him to actually get this fight done, get the deal done, that was the task more than anything, getting the deal done. Because just think about it, Francis Ngannou was pretty much left out in the cold if this fight wouldn't have gone off. So big ups to Tyson Fury and his people for making this fight, because Francis Ngannou, a year from now, this fight wouldn't be the same. Francis Ngannou's name, recognition, all of that would just dwindle. So I give Tyson Fury and his people big props, because this is a fight that Francis Ngannou can retire after this. He could walk away in the sunset. And I was listening to Francis Ngannou on Joe Rogan talk about this, and he was talking about how the UFC, treat the fighters as far as the extension clause goes, their contracts. He was smart to, walk away and take a chance on himself. If you haven't watched that interview with Joe Rogan, go back and watch it, because you will get a whole lot of insight on pretty much why he did what he did. And you can only respect a man for believing in himself. So yeah, big ups for him.
Yeah, he bet on himself, and if I'm being honest, I was questioning then. I'm thinking, I know you want what was it, Deontay Wilder money? That was the thing that was thrown out there a lot.
He wanted a new contract. That's what he
Right.
said on Joe Rogan's show. He said he wanted a new contract. He said the UFC, his deal was coming up, but they kept extending him because of certain fights didn't go off, and they could just flag you. It's a lot of detail that goes into that. He said they were stalling him as well, because he thought he could have knocked those 3 fights out of his contract relatively quickly, but the UFC was stalling him, and then by stalling him, sometime extending him at the same time. So it was almost like a never-ending story. You got to go back and listen to it. That's why I say it was very, very interesting to listen to Francis Ngannou on why he felt like he had to bet on himself. One thing that struck me about Francis Ngannou also in that interview, he said, look, man, you know, they think that they can starve me where I came from. He said, I can live with nothing. You know, he said, I'm not one of these guys that need a whole lot. He said, whatever's in my wallet, I can live off that. You know, so no, I mean, so now that right there told me a whole lot about this dude, that it's really not about the money per se. I want to get my fair share. I want to get paid my fair share for what I'm doing. I'm the heavyweight champion. I'm the best guy on the roster. Should not be able to, you know, have some bargaining agreement here. Conor McGregor got it.
He did.
Am I right?
He did. He got piece of the pay-per-view, got points, right? Big salary up front.
John Jones get it right.
John Jones, Johnny Bones, yeah.
Exactly. So if you could do it for these guys, come on, man. Conor McGregor has become a multi-millionaire. How many UFC fighters have become a multi-millionaire?
Very few. You can count them on one hand.
Exactly my point. So my thing is, I respect Francis Ngannou for being a guy that say, look, man, I'll go back to the bush. I don't need the money. I don't need the money. I don't need the life. I don't need the cars. I don't need the big steak. You know what I mean? I don't need all of that. It's just me. I appreciate him because he definitely is setting an example that people can look at and respect and, you know, aspire to want to be like one day. He's standing up for himself, and that's one thing. You know, stand up for something, you fall for anything. So I appreciate Francis Ngannou for doing what he's doing. We got to take another quick break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Inside the Hall of Fame. Now, can you dig that?
Shoop. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We got to be rolling up out of here pretty soon, Bradley. So
Yeah, last one.
Super chats right about now before we run out of time.
Well, here we go.
Super chat.
First one comes from Ray J. Dawkins. I'm curious to see what WWE will do with Ashante the Adonis and B-Fab since Top Dolla has been released, and I'm curious to see if they'll continue as Hit Row or be repackaged.
You know what? I don't think they're going to continue as Hit Row. I think they might as well dismantle that thing because I think when they lost Swerve, I think that was the one.
They lost the group.
The glue, that was the glue. I really do. Like I was talking about Swerve, and I was talking about how impressed I was with Swerve as far as him being a lyricist himself. I didn't know he was a rapper, but he sounded just as good as Top Dolla. He was definitely one of those guys that you looked at totally different when you saw him in that group. And the thing is, you saw Swerve as the leader of that group. I could be wrong, but that's the way I felt. I felt Swerve was the glue that kept that thing together. Now, you know, bringing them back, I thought that was cool because, again, everybody get that paper, baby. Everybody needs that paper. But one thing about it, as hard as it is to get back there, man, it's so much harder to stay there. So, and when I talked about Top Dolla too, as far as being a guy that I really feel like if he just tap into what he's good at, I really think Top Dollar is going to be all right because the dude is good with the pen and paper. He really is. So Top Dollar, keep doing your thing, man. Keep doing your thing. As well as you want to come to reality wrestling, we got a spot for you.
Didn't Top Dollar did he do a Harlem Heat theme freestyle?
Yeah,
Booker T freestyle?
Yeah, he did.
Is that out?
It's somewhere. Yeah, I got it on.
Wale did one too, but we never got to hear it like fully.
Yeah. Hey, man, everybody trying to follow in Bad Bunny's footsteps and get a Grammy.
Our next one here is from our great Cali Toenail. There we go, Cali. Is it too soon for Lashley and the Prophets to have trouble? They really haven't gotten off the blocks yet. What do they do yet? Do they got what it takes to be great heels?
They haven't had any trouble. They haven't had any trouble yet, have they?
No. I mean, no, not really. Bobby's just been like kind of barking at them.
Well,
get their head in the game.
That's problem. That's enough problems right there already. If they're barking at each other. I mean, faction's supposed to be, supposed to be happy all the time until they ain't. That's just me. But I don't know, man. I'm still conflicted with Street Profit and Bobby together. I mean, it's a great combination. They got a lot in common. Let's just say that they all brothers. so
okay.
That right there makes everything cool and copacetic. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm not that too fond of the group just because I'm looking for some. I'm like Dion's. I'm like Coach Prime. I'm looking for some dogs, man. I'm looking for some dogs. And if you ain't one of them dogs, man, you might want to start applying to another university because we looking for dogs, man. And when and I've been telling Street Profits they need to turn into some dogs. You know what I mean? Ditch the cup. All right. What's in the damn cup? Okay. So that's my thing. It's time to start putting the hurt business on the map if you're going to put the hurt business on the map. No pun intended.
For real.
It's time to bring the pain if you're going to bring the pain and quit messing around, and jiving and messing around. I'm just saying. Let me get that. I just had to get that off my chest. Let's keep it rolling.
Well, that's going to be the headline of every, wrestling site this week. I don't like this group. Unk says, Book, what were you thinking in TNA when you were beating down Xavier Woods and commentating on the mic? Chew it and do it.
I'm just having fun, man. I'm just having fun. Okay. When I was beating up Consequences Creed, that was his name back then. Creed. I was just having fun. When I'm talking about BlueChew, I'm just having fun. Because that's what life's all about. Life's about having fun every day. If you can't get some fun out of it, I'm serious. Can't get some fun out of this thing, you're in a lot of trouble. There's a lot of work involved in having fun as well. Me and Brad, we've been working, Saturday night, worked all night. We got to get on a flight on Thursday. We got to go to Vegas. We got to work. I got to go, get on the plane on Saturday and go to Bakersfield. But then I'm gonna come home on Sunday and get a little bit of rest and then back to work on Tuesday. But work is work, man. But you got to still be able to have fun and laugh within the middle of that storm. Otherwise, you're gonna wake up one day and you're gonna be wondering, wait a minute, I'm not here anymore. So have some fun, people. Seriously.
Yeah, I feel that. Gotta laugh while you do it. Speaking of
every day.
Big Breezo. Book, do you really dislike the dancing and goofing off in the ring?
In the ring, I dislike dancing and goofing off. Just because I always wanted to make my fans feel a certain way when they left that arena. I never mind joking around and laughing and being as stupid as I wanted to be outside of the ring. I'm the guy that had a fight with Stone Cold Steve Austin in the grocery store. I'm the guy that it was chasing around in the bingo hall. I'm the guy that was, ran and hid in a confessional. Okay, so I'm the guy that was, GI Bro. So you got to be able to, you got to be able to have those moments where it's not so serious.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what, and you've talked about that too. I mean, I think that as long as it's before and after the bell, it's all well and good. Right?
Anything outside of the ring is open season. But when you get inside the square circle, you want people to think that they're watching a real fight. And the thing is, they know what they're watching. They know what they paid to see. But for me, that part is sacred, almost like what Gunther say. It's sacred. The ring is sacred. As far as that part is the payoff for the fans. And if I'm paying the fans off with ha-ha, I'm not really paying them off. We've done the ha-ha leading up to the match.
Right. Right. I'm in total agreement. Our next one here is from Kappa Owens.
Super chat.
Sigh, booking Brad. Samoa Joe has it all to me. Not saying any bad booking has been done, but why does he always fall short of the big one, it seems?
Well, that's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Why Joe falls short? Because he's not the guy that they chose to be the guy. That's all it is. A lot of guys in this business, been in Joe's position, not the chosen ones. Joe will tell you that himself. Hey, man, I'm not the guy that, that was most likely to succeed in this business. I think Joe will tell you that. Joe made all of his own breaks. And, do I wish Joe would win the big one? Of course. Will he win the big one? Perhaps. I think Joe is going to have his time in the sun. I really believe that, just because Tony Khan is that type of guy. But as far as Joe is one of those guys that is tailor-made to go out there and work with anybody, and you're going to believe what's happening in that ring. And when that guy wins, that guy is going to be elevated to another level by beating Joe. And there again, I hope Joe get his props one day, because I worked with Samoa Joe right here in Houston, and it was one of the best matches I ever had. And it was perhaps the best match I had in TNA.
Yeah, the Victory Road here in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal match. Phenomenal match. Our last super chat here of the day comes from Kappa Owens again, who says J-Lo looking at John Moxley with skewers in his head. I guess that was her reaction shot, is the joke. The skewers thing was an interesting choice. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of that, if I'm being honest. I don't too much enjoy that. But hey, somebody does. It's not for me.
Hey, man, these guys.
You ever take skewers to the head?
I've never done anything to the head. Okay, nothing. I'm serious. And when I see these guys go out and really want to take it to another level and do stuff like this, I don't know. Have you heard any news about John Moxley? Speaking of John Moxley, as far as his condition,
I heard it was a concussion, and I haven't heard anything more since then. I don't know if there's any latest update, but we wish that he's 100% okay after that scary, scary bump in the match with Ray Phoenix.
Yeah, no doubt, man. What a scary bump that was. Hopefully he's okay. I seen something they said that he had a mild concussion, but there was no timeline on when John Moxley was going to be back to work. Mild concussion seemed like you should be back to work pretty quick, but there again, I don't know. Hopefully,
I don't know either.
It's not that serious. But there again, also, No Mercy going down this weekend, Bakersfield, California. NXT is going to be live, man. Cannot wait to get there. The main event, Carmelo Hayes versus that mad dragon. Also, I'm looking forward to that contest. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's NXT as well. It's going to be some huge matches. My boy Trick Williams looking to get back in action as well, and I can't wait for whoop that Trick, whoop that. Oh yeah! Somebody even have to get my intro down for Trick Williams when he get ready to make his
ad libs.
yeah, exactly. Get my young Jeezys. My young Jeezy's ready. You know what I mean? Jeezy's the king of the ad lib. So yeah, I'm gonna be ready for that right there. Yeah. Oh, a bunch of that. It's gonna be a bunch of that. The whole show. It's gonna be a bunch of that. So guys, tune in tomorrow night. NXT action going down. Brad, anything you want to get out before we get out here?
No, everybody. Next time you see us, we'll be live in Las Vegas this Thursday. So make sure you check it out. And if you're here locally, we're on at 7 o'clock Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can catch us streaming live.
Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. Do it, man. I do it for you. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame today. All of my super chatters, as always, man, we thank you guys for stepping in and getting your champagne wishes, caviar dreams, as well as Brad, the heavy lifter. You can tell he's been taking his AG1. The biceps have grown a little bit bigger. The mustache has grown a little bit thicker. Everything is growing. But guys, not everything. But guys, we got to get... we got to get out of here till next time. Peace. We love you. We out.